of the Champion Evaluators Advanced Toastmasters Club. This evening, we are thrilled to hear from two amazing speakers, each with two evaluators sharing feedback. Our panelists will take it further by evaluating the evaluators, helping us all grow as better communicators. So, let me share a quick story about a legend, Marie Curie, who won two Nobel Prizes for her discoveries. She said, we must understand more to fear less. Just like Curie explored new ideas to find answers, our evaluators dig deep to uncover insights that make us stronger speakers. That's what makes our club unique. We learn and improve together. To make this evening's meeting smooth and lively, please join from a quiet place with a steady internet connection. Keep your videos on if possible to keep the energy up and use reaction buttons like a clap or thumbs up to support our speakers and evaluators. Now, it's my honor to hand over the meeting to our club's visionary leader, President DTM Jyotika Shetty, whose passion and creativity light the way for us to grow and excel.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Savita Salyan. Let's give her a huge round of applause. I always love to see Savita smile. It's so soothing, and it just says that everything's going to be all right. Like we have in the Hindi movie, all is well. Because all was not well for me since last night. I've been in the hospital, and suddenly my mom fell sick last night, and I just came back from the hospital. Yes, I have a lipstick on myself, but that is because I'm tired. And that is a realization. I just had a realization at that time. Today is 27th of October. And if you actually count the calendar, we just have 65 days left in this year. What have you planned to do in the next 65 days? First of all, look back and see, have you achieved what you've set out to achieve? It could just be becoming an effective evaluator. It could just be making more friends, one extra friend, being a little more social, learning something different. Because we think there's a lot of time left. I'm not trying to scare anyone here, but I think sometimes things can go wrong. We think we have a lot of time, everything will go as per planned, but when you actually see, nothing is in our control. I had planned for something different yesterday, and suddenly things went away. It just went here and there. And this morning, I was in the hospital the whole day and came back, and I realized that I have not even prepared my presidential address. So, what do I say? It is very important to sharpen our saw on a continuous basis. Now, we have something called as a group peer mentoring, right? This is a brilliant opportunity that we have. But how many of you, honestly, tell me, how many of you have actually sat even for an hour to practice evaluation? Wow. Rajiv, yeah, I'll get back to you, but I think you are not a part of that group yet. But we will definitely look forward to you being a part of that group. Only DTM Maria is one who has practiced, but including me, none of us. Oh, yeah, Sophie also has. Great. But none of us have. So I think let's just look back and see. We probably started this year to become that a bit better than what we already were. Maybe we need to invest a little more time on achieving those goals if we haven't, because time is not unlimited. We just have a set time with us and we've got a lot of things to do. So let's gear up, make use of all the facilities that is available with us. And the first thing is this club, which is an excellent club, has made this facility available, which is the peer mentoring. So let's make use of it. With that being said, a warm good evening to our guest present here today, Rajesh Srinivas. I am not sure if you're a Toastmaster, but I would invite you to introduce yourself, where you come from, what do you do, and what brings you to our club, to our club. Over to you, Rajiv.
I belong to D121 TCS Maitri Kochi Toastmasters Club. What brings me here? Obviously, Daryl. Daryl's nudge, and I should say, always be here. That constant push allowed me to be here. And thank you so much, Daryl, for the opportunity and looking forward for a great meeting.
Thank you, Rajiv. I'm so happy that you could make it here. This is an advanced club, especially for evaluators who want to hone their skills. So we really look forward to you being our future guest as well as hopefully a part of this club. A warm welcome. We all have our members here. I think we have Malya. Malya, good evening, Malya. Would you introduce yourself?
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Jyotika. Hi, everyone. I am Malya. I've been a Toastmaster for 5 years now. And again, distinguished Toastmaster Daryl has been bugging me to visit this club for a very long time. And I'm very glad that I got the opportunity to do so today. And I'm looking forward to a wonderful meeting.
Right. Thank you, Malya, and a warm welcome to our club. I'm sure Daryl is not bugging you. He's probably inspiring you to join our club because this is a brilliant club that you can be a part of. With that being said, it's time to now move on to our minutes of the meeting. And we have our secretary here, Toastmaster Divya D'Souza. May I invite Divya onto the stage to read out the minutes of the meeting.
Thank you, Jyotika. The club meeting number 007 was on 13th October at 7:30 p.m. The Toastmaster of the day was Distinguished Toastmaster Lyra Pinto, Sergeant at Arms Savita Salian, Distinguished Toastmaster. The timer was Toastmaster Divya D'Souza, Evaluator 1, Toastmaster Shali Mukund, Evaluator 2, Toastmaster Ashima Jain, Evaluator 3, Toastmaster Vijay Prabhudevan. The panel moderator was Distinguished Toastmaster Daryl Rodrigues. Panelist 1 was Distinguished Toastmaster Jyotika Shetty, and the second panelist was Distinguished Toastmaster Maria DaCosta. Distinguished Toastmaster Savita Salian called the meeting number 7 to order. Just give me a minute. Stating the mission and online etiquette, she emphasized during her opening how this club experiments with excellence and how this meeting would be different by having no speaker, but a voice with which we would evaluate by structure, tone, and modulation. She reminded everyone of the online etiquette and highlighted how each meeting provides an opportunity to sharpen analytical listening and evaluative precision. The President, Distinguished Toastmaster Jyotika Shetty, warmly welcomed all the members and guests, especially Area Director Sandhya Naik. She informed everyone of the Moments of Truth session that had been conducted to evaluate the club in all dimensions and how growth need not always be forward, and the importance of taking a step back and assessing ourselves, reflect and learn, and congratulated the moderator, Distinguished Toastmaster Daryl Rodrigues, for conducting an amazing session of Moments of Truth. She also requested the members to take the initiative of peer mentoring that has been created to support the members in their journey of taking their learnings to the next level. The highlights: Moments of Truth conducted by moderator Distinguished Toastmaster Rodrigues. The area director Sandhya Naik congratulated the team on handling a very effective and honest Moments of Truth session and wished the club the very best. The second highlight was the Evaluation Spotlight Challenge. The meeting featured a unique segment where evaluators were invited to demonstrate their analytical, observational, and evaluation skills while listening to an audio clip of a speech. The Toastmaster of the day was Distinguished Toastmaster Lyra Pinto, who took the virtual stage with a beautiful hymn, This Little Guiding Light of Mine, I'm Going to Let It Shine, setting the tone of the meeting with light and rhythm. She introduced the structure of the meeting where this time, instead of a prepared speech, would be an audio for the evaluators to evaluate and present their recommendations and insights during the Evaluation Spotlight Challenge, emphasizing that evaluation is not just an analysis, but a reflection of empathy, observation, and inspiration. She outlined the flow of the meeting, including the Evaluation Spotlight Challenge, the evaluation round, and the panel evaluation. The Evaluation Spotlight Challenge, the audio clip of the speaker was played by the Zoom master. The speaker, Richa, was presenting her speech with the speech title, The Driving Force, a story of how a driver became a source of inspiration and learning. The evaluation section, the following members took part in the evaluation round: Toastmaster Shalini Mukund, Toastmaster Ashima Jain, and Toastmaster Vijay Prabhudevan. Each evaluator's feedback reflected depth, empathy, and clarity, embodying the spirit of champion evaluators while imparting their insights, commendations, and recommendations. The panel evaluation by the moderator, Distinguished Toastmaster Daryl Rodrigues, and the two panelists, Distinguished Toastmaster Jyotika Shetty and Maria DaCosta. The panel evaluation segment was facilitated with the rich discussion and analysis. The panelists examined each evaluator's approach, delivery, and content. They highlighted effective commendations and provided practical recommendation on structure, balance, and demonstration of key points. They shared insights into how evaluators could enhance vocal energy, summarization, and closure techniques, adding depth and professional polish to each evaluation. The cross-examination section was an interactive segment where evaluators had the opportunity to ask the panelists for clarifications and deeper insights into their feedback. This exchange encouraged reflection and helped evaluators to refine their individual styles. The closing, Toastmaster of the Day, Distinguished Toastmaster Lyra Pinto concluded the session by appreciating the enthusiasm and engagement of all participants and handed the meeting back to the President. Distinguished Toastmaster Jyotika Shetty, in a closing remark, congratulated all members who participated in the Evaluation Spotlight Challenge and acknowledged the courage and the creativity of the evaluators. She reminded members about the upcoming advanced evaluation workshops and adjourned the meeting. The best evaluator of the day was announced as Toastmaster Shalini Mukund. The next meeting was scheduled to be 27th October 2025 at 7:30 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Divya. And today is 27th October 2025. Are there any observations for the minutes that has been read by the club secretary?
We also had moments of truth that day, didn't we?
Yes, moments of truth were there, but this is just the minutes of the meeting for the meeting that was conducted. The moments of truth was not minuted.
Okay.
But we could probably,
However, that has been
I've added.
documented, President. So
But
you can
probably
share
we
that
could-
with them.
We could also mention in the minutes of the meeting that the moments of truth was conducted because the
I have
recording was
put it
already
there as a
done, no,
highlight.
Daryl, and it's available online. Yeah, the recording is already available online. So Divya, we could probably include.
I have
The
put
fact
it in the highlights of the meeting in the beginning.
You mentioned it. Okay, great. All right. All right. So, are there any observations here? Observations? If not, then we can probably accept the minutes of the meeting as presented by Divya D'Souza. All right. Thank you very much. Now let's move forward with the meeting. I'd like to just remind all of you that the club contest, the table topics and the humorous contest will be held on November 24th. So please start preparing and start giving your names to our VP Education, DTM Daryl Rodrigues. The ISC, that's International Speech Contest, and the evaluation will be conducted on Jan 26th. That's next year, 2026. So please prepare. We would like all of you to participate. And this time we have a new segment called the humorous segment, which is going to be just for fun. It's not introduced by us, it is introduced by the district, but please take part in it. It'll really be a great time and some fun time as well. All right, moving forward, let me invite onto the stage a lady who was just telling us the meaning of her name. And that really sparked a small thought in my mind. I think we should have a session where each one of us can explain the meaning of our names. That would be an opportunity to know each other much more than what we know ourselves as Kalika, Sophie, Malya, Divya, something more to learn from you and listen to. So Kalika, I now know that you are a rosebud. That's what you said, right? Rosebud and also Goddess Kali.
Yes.
Today with the fragrance of rosebud that is yet to bloom, I would like to now invite on stage, because you are also a rosebud in this club who is now slowly blooming. And this is your debut performance here. I wish you all the best and may you exemplify your talent in this club as well. Over to you, Kalika.
Thank you so much, everyone. I'm really happy to be here today. This is my first time taking up a role in this club. In fact, this is my first meeting as a member, and I'm very excited for it. So, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and all the guests. As Distinguished Toastmaster Jyotika has already introduced me, my name is Kalika, and I am going to be the Toastmaster of the day for this meeting of Champion Evaluators Advanced Toastmaster Club. So, we all know that this club is no ordinary Toastmasters club. This is a club of champions and champions who believe in one simple yet powerful idea, which is feedback is not pointing about fingers, it's about pointing forward. Today, we here at Champions Evaluator, we take pride in the art of giving and receiving evaluations that elevate. Whether you are a member or a distinguished Toastmaster, there is one truth that we all share, which is that we grow where we are guided. And tonight, we are going to witness the very essence of that growth. So, today, for all the guests, for the benefit of our guests, I would like to explain the segments of our meeting that we are going to have. The first segment is going to be the prepared speech section, where prepared speakers will give their prepared speeches. The second section will be about the evaluation section, where they will be evaluated by their evaluators. The third section is the special section of the meeting, which is the panel evaluation, where the evaluators will be evaluated by other evaluators, and that will be held by distinguished Toastmaster Daryl. We also have our timer for the day, which is Toastmaster Ashima Jain, and she will be raising the timer cards according to the speech timings. We will now move into our first section of the meeting, which is the prepared speech section, where a speaker will come and present a rehearsed speech. So today, for our first speaker, Toastmaster Divya, she is currently in the path of presentation mastery, and she will be presenting her L2P3, which is level 2, project 3. The purpose of this project is to clearly define how Toastmasters envisions mentoring. Now, before we move forward, I would like her to do an audio check. So, Toastmaster Divya, please repeat after me. I am ready.
I am ready.
Thank you so much. Is that audible for everyone?
Yeah, I would only request the timer to, I think you'll have to blank yourself out, Ashima. You'll have to just close the video.
Sure, I'll do that.
The-
Yeah, I'll do.
Yeah. Cover the video rather.
Cover the
Yeah.
video you meant.
Yeah, the what do you call it? The video, no?
Cover your camera with your finger.
Yeah, camera with your finger
Sure.
or paper.
And you can display the backgrounds.
You can display the background.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, timer. Divya D'Souza, guided by grace, Divya D'Souza.
Do you all remember your first day at Toastmasters? I definitely remember mine. And that was a day that I walked into the Toastmasters meeting and I thoroughly enjoyed myself with the structure of the meeting. And I was getting around to figuring out what a timer is, what an counter is. And then there was someone who said, Divya, you should participate for the table topics contest. And that someone was, guess who? My very first mentor in the Toastmasters journey, our beloved distinguished Toastmaster, Phyllis Maria DaCosta. And when she said, Divya, you should try for the area level contest, I was barely 3 weeks in Toastmasters and I was not even sure what an R counter is. And now this lady is telling me you should go for the table topic contest. So I told myself, yes, ma'am, definitely. It's okay. I'll think about it. No, Divya, you should and you must. I'm sure all of you recognize that nurturing spirit of Maria ma'am. She never takes no for an answer, does she? And she said, no chance. You are entering that contest. You must do that for Coastal Divas. And so, because of her confidence, I said, yes. But in my heart and every cell in my body was screaming, no. What if I forget? What if I make a fool of myself? What if I'm standing there and just looking at everybody? And then I said, okay, why not? She believes in me, so I think I should also. And that is where my journey as learning from a mentor at Toastmasters began. And Maria Mann truly was my guiding light. She not only corrected who I was or what I was and what I wanted to say, she nurtured my courage. She helped me understand that mentoring was not about teaching, it was about finding yourself. And when I started going to her house for rehearsals, I was absolutely ready to just be a clay in her hands and to learn because I did want to ace the test. When I reached her home that day and she told me, "Come on, Divya, just believe in yourself. Just think on your feet. It's very simple. You're a great speaker. All you need to do is speak from your heart." And she took her little book there and she had already a plethora of topics. And one after the other, she would give one topic to the other. There I was. In some of the topics, I would be tongue-tied. At others, I would stammer. Some I would totally forget what I was really talking about. But at every point, all she did was just relax, take a pause, breathe, and just connect with the audience and speak from your heart. And that was exactly what reassured me. There were times that I raced through my speech and she would say, "Divya, pause. Just sometimes you need to have your silence speak for you." And that's when I really learned so many things that even though I considered myself as a good speaker, I learned much more because that's exactly why I joined Toastmasters, to learn about the structure of speech. And then came the day, the area level table topics contest. I arrived there totally hands sweaty, tongue tied, smiling outside. Everybody was watching me. This was, in fact, the same top that I wore also that day because red is my favorite color and it's lucky sometimes. And then when I saw the stage, it looked like a forest of animals and each person going on there ready to be eaten by the crowd. But I looked at Maria Ma'am, and there she was looking at me, giving her that reassuring look. And then I said, "Divya, just go there on that stage and just be yourself." And that's what I did. So I went on the stage, and as I walked in, I had to wear that contraption of a mic with a belt and all of that. And I was wondering, first question that I had is, these things are not made for people as big as me. And I had to somehow manage to put that on, but then I did. And I got onto the stage. I don't even remember what that topic was. But then I remember finishing the topic. I remember feeling free finally of all of my nerves. I felt confident and I felt happy. And I didn't just walk away with the award. I also walked away with a lesson for life. And that really gave me an idea of exactly what mentoring at Toastmasters is. Ladies and gentlemen, Toastmasters journey is really a beautiful one and one that I have learned and relishing every single moment of it. But the mentoring part is something that I understood very differently because I have had my experience with different kinds of mentors. But mentoring at Toastmasters is a slightly different. When you are a mentor here and when you are mentored, they don't just give you a script, they hand you a mirror to look at yourself and evaluate where you are. They don't walk for you, they walk with you. And every step of the way, guiding you with trust, with encouragement, and shared growth. So, as I look back at that day where I took that first step in my Toastmasters journey, happily, of course, with an award, but I learned what is the true value of mentoring because mentoring isn't about teaching. It is about guiding. It's about not just creating another version of yourself, but helping that person find themselves, find their true voice. So, for all the Marias all out there, thank you for reminding me that growth isn't about just another journey. And to all the mentees, do not hesitate when someone comes forward to mentor you, because that's just the opportunity to take you to the next level. Over to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Divya. Am I audible? I think my laptop is stuck. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Kalika.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. I can see my screen right now. Now, I would like to request the timer to share the timings.
After the second speaker, Kalika.
Okay, got it.
No, Jyotika will have the timer now because the first two evaluators will move directly to the breakout room.
Yeah. The time taken by Toastmaster Divya was 7 minutes and 25 seconds. And moving to the next segment of the meeting, have evaluators 1 and 2 been moved into the breakout room? Okay, I would like to request evaluator 1 and evaluator 2 to kindly move to the breakout room. Okay. Okay, thank you so much. Now, for our next speaker, we move on to the second speaker of the day. The pathway chosen by this speaker is presentation mastery, and today he will be giving his level 2 project 3 an level 3 elective project, which is to inspire your audience. The purpose of this elective and this project is for the member to practice writing and delivering a speech that inspires others. The purpose of this speech is for the member to inspire the audience. Okay. Distinguished Toastmaster C.K. Ballal, I would like you to repeat after me for a quick audio check. Please repeat after me. I am ready.
I'm ready.
Thank you so much.
Am I seen? Yeah.
Yes, I can.
You can only see me up to here because I tried the various methods of the camera. I think I need some mentoring on that. But this will suffice for now. Thank you very much. Please pardon me for that.
Yes. C.K. Ballal, are you credible? Are you credible, C.K. Ballal?
Dear Toastmasters and friends, if I ask you, are you credible? You turn around and say, what kind of question is this? Do you really mean to ask such a question? But think about it. How highly do we rate ourselves as being credible? In our country, we don't have credibility as a very high index of someone. Merriam-Webster dictionary defines credibility as someone being believable or worthy of trust. We don't rate this very highly. If the seeds are not sown at an early stage in life, how can we hope to reap a rich harvest of credibility? Let me narrate an anecdote to you from maybe about 3 decades ago. My daughter Sumedha was about 8 years old then, and my son Paritosh was 3 years younger to her. One day I come from work and I say to them, "Hey, children, Apollo Circus is in town. How about going to circus this Sunday?" And they say, yeah. Very good. And I say, okay, done. Come Sunday morning, it's my cricket day. I go out for cricket and a few beers down the drain. The circus is out of my mind. I'm not out of my mind, however, and I do go home But then I see the sullen faces of Sarah, my wife, and my two kids. Did they go to circus that day? And what happened? This rubbed in rather too well into my son, Paritosh. When he was in his early teens, he says to his mother, Amma, I'm going out on my pedal bike and I'll be back in a tick. Tick turns to talk, and he's nowhere to be seen. And I'm back home from work. And I said, Where's Paritosh? He said, Ask yourself. And then Paritosh walks in. And I said, What about your credibility, Paritosh? He says, just as I'm ready to box his ears, he says, What about yours, Papa? And that is the day when a great sense dawned on me. I said to myself, there's no point being a hero at work, being a very credible professor. Charity begins at home, doesn't it? So I stopped being, dare I say, a promising father, but a father who really became promising. I didn't forget birthdays, I didn't forget anniversaries, and I was there. If I said I'll buy something, a Lego for my son or a nice dress for my daughter, I did that, and I became an apple of their eye. If all this sounds rather mundane to you, it's not really that much, is it? Because only when the seeds of credibility are sown at an early stage in life do they nurture them. We nurture credibility. You could be a student, a speaker, a leader, a professor, a homemaker, or a shirt sleeve rolled up ordinary worker. Credibility is important for everyone. Research shows that there are four types of credibility. Four types of credibility. The first being the presented credibility. The next is the credibility that is initial credibility. And then there is the one that is derived. And then finally, there is terminal credibility. The initial credibility is the one about you which travels faster than you. People know about you even before they see you. There are several examples like that in the Toastmasters, like, great mentors, great speakers, Urmila Shetty, professor of English. We have them amongst ourselves. We have the queen of humor, Veera Katpitia, my friend. There's Maria Di Costa. There's so many of them, and the meticulous MNPI. Then we come to what is known as the presented credibility that comes with your biodata. People talk about you, professor of surgery, professor of neurosurgery, and this, that, and the other. And you have to maintain that. That is the presented credibility which the MC presented. The one that is really important is what is known as the credibility that you achieve. The people that you remember from history, people like Mahatma Gandhi, people like Mother Teresa and Martin Luther King. They toiled all their lives to achieve that. But you must remember that a little faltering here and there tarnishes them. Remember about the experiments of truth by Mahatma Gandhi. But then what we all live for is a terminal credibility, which your listeners take with you, your friends adore you for, your family treasures and cherishes. And that's what gets written on your epitaph. So if I said to you, would you like to be credible? How would you feel if someone said to you, hey, what a incredibly credible chap. Nice one to know. That makes you feel good, doesn't it? So my mind goes back to the same question. Are you credible? Do you want to be credible? I certainly know that all of us want to be. Toastmasters.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Ballal, and thank you for your inspiring speech. I would like to request the timer to share the timings taken by the speaker. Speaker 2 took 7 minutes and 1 second. With that, I would also like to request evaluator 3 and 4 to move into the breakout room.
Do I have to start timing the breakout session as well?
I am not sure, Daryl.
No, since we have two different speakers, that's not required. We can directly move to the evaluation set.
Okay, fine.
Thank you, everyone. And what a wonderful and incredible first session we've had. Two inspiring speeches. And now we move on to the second part of the meeting, which is the evaluation session. For the evaluation session, the purpose of this session is to offer thoughtful feedback that celebrates strength while gently pointing out opportunities for growth. With that, I would also like to remind all of you about the ballots and votings. Will that be shared here in the chat box?
I've already shared it.
Okay, yeah. Okay, thank you so much. Now let's move on to the first evaluator of the day. Can we have the first evaluator in the room? Yes. Okay. Distinguished Toastmaster Maria Recosta is the first evaluator for today. I would like to hand the stage over to you.
Toastmaster Divya, you stunned me by opening your speech with a question. Do you remember your first day at Toastmasters? That led me to wonder. I was eager and totally in to listen to your speech. That you stood up confidently and courageously to deliver your speech spoke volumes of how, within a few months as Toastmasters, you have not only conquered the stage, but you also expressed how you envision mentoring. Your entire speech was about it. You were clear and focused, and that speaks volumes about the analytical quality of your entire speech. Your speech was well structured, bringing to life your life experience to the stage, which you managed very well. Your gestures were apt and enhanced the quality of your delivery, especially when you locked your hands to display how mentoring is hand holding and moving side by side. Your facial expressions displayed how you spoke from your heart. You aced the timer's test by closing your speech on time, 7.25 seconds, and that showed how well prepared you were. If you could work a little on your tonal variety, your speech could go definitely to the next level. Pacing your speech, you could go fast slow, or moderately slow. And that would have also helped you to enhance the quality of your speech. I felt really proud of you. And now, as I am your evaluator, in summation, I wish to say, you spoke well, you spoke from your heart, sincerely, with a lot of deep affection and respect for mentoring, and you showed the world of Toastmasters and guests how mentoring helps a Toastmaster excel and even win awards. You can work on your tonal variety and pacing, fast, moderate, and slow, to enhance the quality of your speech. Over to the Tia Modi of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Maria DaCosta. I would like to now request the second evaluator to be brought into the room. Can I have someone unmute and tell me? Because I think my screen is a little frozen, so I can't see.
Yes, the evaluator is back. You can proceed.
Okay. Thank you, Daryl. Our second evaluator for today, who will be evaluating the first speaker, is Toastmaster Sophie. Toastmaster Sophie, over to you.
Good evening, Toastmaster of the Day, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today, we had the pleasure of listening to Toastmaster Divya D'Souza, a thoughtful speech about mentoring titled Guided by Grace. A theme of mentoring expressed with grace was truly beautiful. Your message taught us that mentorship is not about teaching or instructions, but about influence, not about directing, but about walking beside. The personal experience you showed added authenticity. We felt as though we are listening not just a speech, but to a heartfelt reflection. Your delivery was composed and confident. Your pauses were well placed, and the calm delivery and expressions suited the subject. We heard your mentor guided you gently, and you described the conversation between you and your mentor. The sentence that she told that influenced you, a moment she lifted your confidence, and it created a stronger imagery and impact. Your tone reflected gratitude, and that your sincerity helped us connect with your speech well. It was as though we were listening not just a speech, but to a heartfelt reflection. Your gestures and expressions gave us a feeling of your gratitude to your favorite mentor. If I have to give you some suggestions, it is better if you can express a bit more vocal variety as the key lines. Overall, it was a thoughtful and inspiring speech. Your message touched the essence of mentorship, kindness, patience, and your involvement in another person's growth. With a few added storytelling details and some vocal emphasis, your delivery can become even more powerful. We look forward to hearing more speeches from you. Thank you, Divya, for that wonderful time we have spent with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sophie. With that, we are done with the evaluations for speaker 1. And now we move on to the second speaker's evaluation. With that, I would also like to make a request for the evaluator 3 to be brought into the main room. And at the same time, for someone to unmute and tell me once they are here. Once Jyotika.
Just give me 1 minute, okay? I'll just be back.
Yeah.
Kalika, we can proceed.
We have the third evaluator in the main room now. So, distinguished Toastmaster Jyotika will be evaluating the second speaker of the day. I would like to hand the stage over to you. All the best.
Are you credible? A question that was not only relevant to the members in this room today, but it is relevant to the people of this world at large. Our speaker today attempted to ask this question in a bid to inspire the audience. Are you credible? Today, our speaker brought to us a profound story, his own personal story, where the father and the child challenged each other's credibility. He started off by asking us, dear Toastmasters and friends, what if I ask you, are you credible? For me, from the very beginning, what really stood out for me in this speech is the fact that he was very soft-spoken today. He understood the requirement of the speech. He was trying to inspire all of us, and that's why he took a very calm demeanor. He also brought in a story which was very personal, a story that had both the pros and cons of why did you do it, why did he do it, but at the end of the day, it was logic that he brought in. So for me, what really stood out is his storytelling technique, whether it was talking about the way he behaved or the way his son behaved with him. The story itself was very touching. And the title, of course, Are You Credible, is something that was very obvious. And his whole idea was to inspire us. So for me, there were two things that really stood out for me. One is his storytelling technique and his demeanor in the way he delivered the project. Now, as far as the recommendation is concerned of this particular project, what could be the recommendations made? One is the voice modulation. Now, if he has to really if he has to really inspire others, I think he could have probably used the voice a bit in a much more profound manner, especially when the son asking a question, Daddy, what did you do? So I felt that you could probably put yourself in the shoe of your son and then ask that question. And you were sitting, obviously, and I felt somewhere that you also had a script in front of you, and that therefore I felt you were also focusing on what the script had. As far as the recommendation is concerned, I feel that maybe a voice modulation could have really added value. The second thing that I felt is you brought in three or four aspects of what are the different types of inspirations, or what are the different types of credibility. Now, in the first part, you gave examples of your own people. Now, as Toastmasters, probably I know who they are, but if you ask the other audience who are there, probably they don't know who they are. So I would recommend that when you give examples, probably you could give universal examples which could resonate with the audience. So two things that when you inspire, you could probably focus on the voice modulation and also give examples that are much more relevant. As far as the speech is concerned, I believe you took care of the ethos, you had the credibility, You took care of the pathos as well, where you built in that environment, you brought in that logic also, wherein I felt that it was completely your story. As if you ask the question, did you inspire me? You definitely inspired me through your story. So essentially, you had a great story. You had also a profound story and storytelling technique. As far as the recommendation is concerned, if you can bring in calm demeanor as well as a little bit of voice modulation, you probably can take this speech to the next level. Wish you all the best. Over to you.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Jyotika. With that, I would like to make a request and call upon the fourth evaluator for the day to evaluate the second speaker.
We can proceed, Kalika.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the fourth evaluator for today is distinguished Toastmaster Savita Salian, and I would like to hand over the stage to her to evaluate the second speaker. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Toastmasters of the day. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Evaluating Dr. Ballal is both a joy and challenge because he didn't merely delivered a speech, but it was his experience. Now, he began with a simple but a very powerful personal story, which was relatable. And he spoke about how he once promised his family for
Timer,
I have
please pause the time.
Yes, I've done that.
Okay,
It's
thank you.
paused it.
turned into transformation when he kept his word and became, and in his own word, he says he's the apple of the family eye. So that moment beautifully conveyed how the state of credibility.
Toastmaster Savita, I'm so sorry to interrupt. You will have to start again. There was a connection loss in the middle.
I have to start from the beginning.
Yes, I'm so sorry. You'll have to start from the beginning.
Okay. Okay, sir. Dr. Ballal started it was not just a speech, but he narrated he spoke about his experience, his personal story, which was a simple yet powerful personal story, which was relatable. And he spoke about how he promised his family for a circus and he forgot about it, and how that incident affected his son. And the beauty of the story was that he was very honest, and he rightly phrased it, saying charity begins at home. Now, from self-reflection, it was transformational when he said that he became the apple of his family's eyes, because he saw to that after that day he kept with his promise, and he even mentioned that credibility are sown early in life. The seed of credibility is sown early in life. Now, then his transition was seamless to a broader concept where he spoke about 4 types of credibility. That is initial credibility, where he spoke about our Toastmasters mentors, and he named them too, and representational credibility, where he talks about his personal background, history. He spoke about 2 great icons, that is Mother Teresa and Mahatma Gandhi. And finally, of course, he says the legacy, what we leave behind. Now, what made the speech truly memorable? I would say his delivery, his expression, his gestures, his facial expression, and the sound effect. then when he said, hey, 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 and he moved his hands and TikTok, when he spoke about his son. So, which brought the story to life and kept the audience completely engaged. Now, there was clarity of speech, energetic tone, and it was entertaining and definitely thought provoking. If I could give suggestion, I would say like when after every strong concept which he mentioned, the four, there should be a variation in the voice tone, vocal tone, between the personal story and the other stories which he said, analytical section. So that could be done. And then I felt there was a slight disturbance, like the eye contact and the camera connection at times, like the speaker appeared that he was looking down, perhaps seeing a note or the screen. But there's something to do. So maintaining steady eye contact with the camera would make the delivery more powerful, especially when it's an online setting. You know, Dr. Bilal's speech was a beautiful blend of storytelling, sincerity, and authenticity. I said he was very honest when he spoke, and it was a circle. He started with a question and he ended with the same question: "Are you credible?" So it was a complete thing. So the speaker, Dr. Bilal, left us not only inspired to be credible, but also reminded us that credibility begins with keeping the word to others and to ourselves. So over to you, Toastmaster.
Am I audible? Yeah, I'm audible. Okay. Thank you so much to all the evaluators for conducting the evaluation session and giving all the detailed evaluations and your notes. We will now take 1 minute of silence for ballot marking. I think the 1 minute is up. Timer is the Okay, I think we'll move forward into the next section. Before we move forward into the final section of the meeting, Evaluator 1, Distinguished Toastmaster Maria DeCosta, took 3 minutes 9 seconds. Evaluator 2, Toastmaster Sophie, took 2 minutes 35 seconds. DTM Jyotika took 3 minutes 28 seconds. And DTM Savita Salyan took 3 minutes and 33 seconds. Now we move on to the final section of the meeting, which is the panel evaluation session. And this is the hallmark of this club, which is going to be the main and the most important part of the meeting today. What makes this session unique is it's going to be not just one voice, but multiple evaluators giving and offering their own insights to improve the provided evaluations. And today, to moderate this, we have our very own distinguished Toastmaster, Daryl, who helped me through the whole meeting today. Thank you so much, and over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Kalika. But before we move on to the panel evaluation, let's quickly do the voting for today's best speaker and evaluators. So I would request President Jyotika to launch the polls once they are ready.
I just have one question, Daryl. Can I?
Yes.
Is it separate for the two speeches or all put together?
Two different evaluators.
Okay. Thank you.
So I'm launching it one by one. Just launched for the first one, speech evaluator. The second one, we have one evaluator who's disqualified. So I think we will not have for the second one. I'm ending the poll here. Just give some time, please. This, the second one. I think you could all, I'm not able to launch this, sorry. Probably you could send the message to me. You could send me a private message, please, all of you.
What is
For
it
the best
about?
speaker, right?
For the best speaker. I've already got for the best evaluator. Best
Okay.
speaker, you could please send a message to me. There's some problem. I'm not able to launch it.
That will come under the.
Send me a private message, not public one, please.
Okay, right. Thank you.
Right, I'll give you all 1 minute. So once the clock strikes 8:35, we'll start this particular segment. All right.
I'm timing it.
Okay, sure. I can see the clock anyway, so it's fine.
I think you could go ahead, Darren.
Right. So good evening, champion evaluators, and welcome to the third segment of our 8th meeting here at CIAT. Today we had 2 speakers, and this is for the first time we tried it out at our club. Having 2 speakers, one spoke about mentoring and one spoke about or tried to inspire the audience. And I think I would be right in saying our panel today also will come with that experience, expertise of mentoring evaluators, and also I'm sure with their insights they will inspire you. I wouldn't be wrong in saying they have been there, done that, because they have both been on the district stage. One has been a finalist in the evaluation contest in District 121, and the other a runner-up as well at the district level. Please put your hands together and welcome our two panelists, distinguished Toastmaster Rajiv and Toastmaster Malya. Let me quickly spotlight them as well. All right. So today we had 4 different evaluators, 2 of them evaluating the first speech and the other 2 evaluating the next speech. I'm going to try it a little different, and I hope Rajiv and Malya, you all have marked your ballots. Right, so what we're going to do first is jump into the evaluations of distinguished Toastmaster Maria and Toastmaster Sophie. And can you tell me quickly in which bracket did you put them in? So I'm going to start with you, Rajiv. Let me just find my pen. Which bracket did you put them in, right? So for analytical quality for DTM Maria.
So analytical quality for DTM Maria is very good.
Key technique?
Key technique, I would say, like, yeah, she was technique, sympathetic and motivational. And only point for improvement, I feel, is on the recommendation part and summation.
No, so which bracket? Good, very good.
Which are on good.
All the 3 are good. Summation as well, good, right?
Good, yes.
All right. Malya, for DTM Maria, what would be your brackets?
Thank you, DTM Daryl. Distinguished Toastmaster Maria. For technique, I have put her in very good. And for the other 3, I have put her in good.
All right. Thank you. So I'm going to request a timer as well to time each evaluation that we provide for the evaluator 4 minutes. So at the end of 3 minutes, show me the green, and at the end of 4 minutes, show me the red. Let's quickly dive into how DTM Maria evaluated the speaker Divya. My first question would be to you, Rajiv. Divya's speech was titled Guided by Grace. But in DTM Maria's evaluation, there was no touch upon that. Do you think adding that would have added value or impact to her evaluation? What are your thoughts?
Definitely, yes. I think that would have added much more flavor and would connect with the speaker a bit more. So that was the key point I also highlighted.
All right. So it's always relevant also to start by touching upon the title, right?
Not mean to be start, but any time to make sure, like, yeah, that connect is.
All right, fantastic. Malya, my question to you would then DTM Maria anyway spoke about how she started with a question. And in her commendation, she mentioned this particular phrase, clear and focused analytical quality. Now, this is very much there when it comes to the ballot, but do you think she enunciated on how the speaker brought this out? If yes, okay, what do you think? If no, what would you recommend?
Yeah, thank you, DTM Daryl. I have this exact thing written on my notebook here. So she did say clear and focused, which is a part of the evaluation. But of course, a speech can also be clear and focused, especially when it comes to the meeting the purposes of the speech or meeting the project guidelines. While that is a good aspect of it, DTM Maria did not, however, mention in what way the speech was clear or in what way the speech was focused. So I assumed that okay, maybe the purpose of the speech came through very well. So maybe it was focused that way, and maybe there was clarity in her voice. Maybe that's why it was clear. So yes, so that would be the first recommendation. Whenever we make points, is to substantiate a little bit more on that.
Thank you, Malya. Rajiv, do you think the evaluator focused on the content of the speech, how the speech was structured, say introduction, body, conclusion, transitions? What do you think there, and how could the evaluator improve?
I think evaluator touch based not just on content deeply, but more or less on how the content was felt to her. Just as example, timers test, expression pause, all those things were really great in my opinion because it covered more content as well as delivery aspects, which was equally paced. What I felt which could have been improved is summary like guess as she had a plethora of points at the beginning, at the summary, she felt to reconnect all those pointers. So there was missing of those pointers which was mentioned in the beginning at the end. And of course, I would say like yes, evaluation is not just for the target speaker. Make sure everyone are being inclusive. So for example, she was only mentioning target speaker, you have to do this, you have to do this, but make sure this is a learning for each and everyone. So inclusiveness of the entire public would have been great. And one more key pointer I would like to add is whenever suggestion was given, it would be great where those suggestions would have been applicable. So vocal variety, where was that vocal variety which would have enhanced? Pause and pace, where was that where it was missing? This aspect, if you could have paused, that would have value. So these are just my thoughts.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Rajiv. Wholesome, very wholesome evaluation of the evaluator. Thank you. My last question for you in with regard to this particular evaluation to Malia is, now DT Maria, of course, summarized at the end, but do you think she could have done something? What recommendation would you give if to take her evaluation to the next level?
Is it with regards only to the summary or to the
Or
whole?
in general to the in the with regard to the entire evaluation?
All right. I'll talk a little bit about the summary because you asked about it. I liked that the summary was very encouraging in nature, which is in the ballots. She also included wordings and phrases which were not mentioned by her in the rest of the evaluation. However, the summary did not exactly seem like a summary because she did not summarize the various points which were there in the speech. The second recommendation that I would give is that in the beginning of her speech, there was a good 1.5 minutes, I think, which was focused on giving various aspects of excellence. But I think that while all of them rang true, they were a little too many in number, and it felt like you were listing and ticking off things from the list. So maybe because this is an L1, L2, P3, we can focus on maybe giving 2 aspects of excellence in a good detailed manner. And if there are other things that we want to add on, we can just mention those as a side note if time permits. Those are 2 quick recommendations that I have for Distinguished Toastmaster Maria.
Thank you. Thank you, Malia, and thank you, Rajiv, for providing a very wholesome evaluation for Distinguished Toastmaster Maria. Quickly summarizing what we discussed in the last few minutes for DTM Maria's benefit. It's always good to use the title and bring out the essence in your evaluation. Always throw light on what you want to highlight about the speaker, what you felt, what stood out. Give examples. Remember that you are not only speaking to the target speaker, but to the entire audience, and try and be inclusive in that way. Also, when you summarize, reconnect all the aspects mentioned at the end, whatever you highlighted, as well as recommended for the speaker. Well done, DTM Maria, and more power to you as you take up an evaluation role in the future. Let's now move on to Toastmaster Sophie, who also evaluated the same speech. Quickly again, your breakdown in the bracket breakdown, Malia, for Sophie.
For Toastmaster Sophie, for technique, again, very good. And for the other 3 in the good category.
Right. And Raji?
The technique, I have good technique as well as summation and analytical quality are good. Recommendation, I felt fair.
Right. So let's now move on to Sophie's evaluation. Malia, let me start with you. So Sophie, when she started, she spoke about the title Guided by Grace, and I felt she gave the message right in the beginning. Right? What was your take on it? Should it have been given right there in the beginning, or probably as a takeaway at the end? Your thoughts, Malia?
I think both of them do work because I like evaluations if they're not very flowery in nature. So you have one sentence in the beginning and you have one sentence in the end, which is kind of like a call to action or a transition, etc. So in my opinion, I do think that starting with the speech title would enable the audience to get more context, remember exactly what the speech was about as well. And even in her summary, even though she did not have the speech title in it, it still managed to be encouraging in nature. So it might not work always, but I think that for Toastmaster Sophie, it did work out.
Right. Thank you, Malia. Let's now move on to Rajiv, and I'm going to speak about the recommendations that Sophie gave. So she said it was authentic, there was a personal experience shared, calm delivery, pauses, a tone of gratitude. Um, how would you assess the commendations that the evaluator Sophie has given? Did it add that value for the speaker if considering you were the speaker?
I will do it in two ways. One, the way she delivered was authentic. She was showing that credibility when she mentioned all these. The tonality with which she praised the speaker, I really felt she meant what she was speaking. So that part, I really comment on that. But coming to that positive commendations, when she adds these languages only, I would love to see what were those elements that really loved. For example, as you just asked that question of connecting with the title, that was a brilliant way to connect with the speaker and also us. That is the good. But after that, she just touched based on all those expressions like delivery and expression language and all those pointers were there, but not highlighted one or two aspects from that story which stood out. So it would have been great, at least a bit of that highlight brought in so that added value.
Thank you, Rajiv. As far as recommendations were concerned, Sophie had only mentioned vocal variety, and I didn't hear how the speaker could use vocal variety there. Malia, would you like to throw some light here in this regard?
Yes, I think that one aspect that Toastmaster Sophie does very well is that I've seen her speak many other times, so I know that she is a good speaker. And even when it comes to evaluation, she was very articulate in nature. However, even when it comes to the positives, the aspects of excellence and improvement, it was all neatly written down in the form of a script. And I felt like she was only abiding to whatever was written there. So when you write things down, you can only write down so many points at a time. So maybe mentioning that vocal variety has to be improved is correct, but we also need to extrapolate on that a little bit by talking about how to do it, give an example as to how it could benefit her, etc. So the points that she mentioned were correct. So I would recommend her to sticking with writing the script down. However, while giving the evaluation, also go back and think about the speech a little bit and pull out what you can from there.
Well said, Malia. Thank you. And one last question with regard to Sophie's evaluation to Rajiv. How effective do you think her summary was? And I heard when she summarized the recommendation, she mentioned storytelling as well, and I felt that was an additional point. What is your take on it, and what could this evaluator do in the future?
Exactly. That's bang on point. Daryl, you rocked it because I was just writing down the same thing. Because at the time of recommendation, she only mentioned one. And immediately, when plunged into conclusion, there were more pointers added. So it would just better, as rightly mentioned by Malia, don't write down entire script. Make sure you have the pointers, maybe left side positive commendations, right side the recommendation, whichever format that you can write it down, and ensure that it is summarized with that same number. So minimum, bare minimum, more the better, because so that you will be able to summarize it in a fruitful fashion. One more thing, rather than commendation or the conclusion, I would like to highlight is make sure whenever we are telling something to the audience or to the speaker, let's use the singular verb that I felt, I see, rather than we felt, which is may not be the same, because I could have felt that is humorous, but may not Daryl had felt the same. So that is one thing. It would be used on the language part as well.
All right, fantastic. Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Rajiv and Malia, for evaluating Toastmaster Sophie and giving her more impetus to become a better evaluator in the future. Summarizing what we discussed, Toastmaster Sophie, is that your vocabulary is great when you give an evaluation. Your commendations were on point, but it would always be nice to explain a little bit more what stood out, or the highlights with regard to the commendation with examples. Yes, we all have a script when we give an evaluation, but also extrapolate points from the speech and try and internalize it when you deliver to the speaker and to the audience. And summary, it's always good to always mention only what you have highlighted as points of commendation or recommendation. Avoid bringing in new points and use I rather than we. Let's now move on to, okay, so with that, we've finished the first segment, and let's now move on to the evaluation of Dr. Ballal's speech, Distinguished Toastmaster Ballal's speech. And the first evaluator was Jyotika. Rajiv, what was your breakdown with regard to the ballot? For
So,
Jyotika.
yeah, sorry, I was on mute. So, Jyotika, the analytical quality I have put as very good, and recommendation part also very good. The technique and summation part as good.
All right. And Malia, what would be your breakdown?
It's actually the opposite of what DT and Rajiv said. So analytical quality and recommendations were good, and technique and summation were very good.
Thank you. Now, DTM Jyotika started with the title of the speaker, are you credible? And then she spoke about the story, that the personal story between the speaker and the child as her introduction into the evaluation. What impact did it create to you as a listener, DTM Rajiv? Could the speaker do anything different? Evaluator do anything different? What are your thoughts?
Evaluator can always do many things different, but the way she started, I think it was giving me justice, because if I am a speaker who telling about that story, those lines really added and had my attention, grabbed my attention, that okay, this is about the credibility and I would like to hear more of that. So I was really armed with those introductory lines, and especially positives that she had, and thoroughly looked into each aspects.
Let me now move on to Malia. Malia, coming to the commendations that TT and Jyotika mentioned, she spoke about storytelling technique and calm demeanor of the speaker, right? And even later on, there was no touch upon the structure of the speech that was delivered. Yes, she mentioned she got inspired, but would you also comment or mention anything with regard to the structure of the speech that was delivered?
So when you look at the speaker's project guidelines, it was to inspire the audience. So I think Distinguished Toastmaster Jyotika did a good job of picking out those points and connecting most of them with the inspiring aspect of it. So I believe that she had around 2+2 points in both aspects of excellence and improvement. So it was not completely necessary to bring in another point on structure. Maybe if there was no other point or the structure needed significant improvement with regards to the project guidelines, it would definitely make sense. But because her evaluation was objective specific and the structure in itself did not have any flaws, I think that not touching upon it was fine for me.
Thank you, Malia. Let's now move on to the recommendations that were given, voice modulation, and also including, various aspects of the speech that probably audience was not aware of. Rajiv, do you have anything else to add to this? And I would also ask you, what were your comments on the transition from commendation to recommendation? Right?
Okay.
Is there anything that the
Great.
evaluator could incorporate there?
Great question. I really loved the analytic quality, especially on recommendation. For example, voice in profound manner, and she mentioned like the tonality, how to do it, and looking through. She also mentioned like how to look through the paper that was evident, and the universal example. So all these on the recommendation part were really brilliant. But what I felt was the lack of credibility, of course, the observation pattern, which could mismatch. For example, there were 4 types of credibility mentioned by the speaker, but the evaluator by mistake mentioned 3. So that takes a step back when it's evaluating. So make sure like, yeah, there were different types. If we are not sure about it, it would be just going like that line rather than just mentioning those wrong numbers, which would catch an attention. And there was a statement mentioned, he started off so and so, but what was the purpose of that statement in her evaluation? Was it good or bad, or how it impacted was never carried forward. So ensure like every statement that we add in an evaluation adds that value. So the transition, I think, was cool because that there was nuts confusion. It was convincing that she is moving from the way to the other one. Maybe another way we could have is like to build more credibility to your speech. That would have been an easier transition as well to add more charm. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajiv. And lastly, to Malia, with regard to the summary, right? How effective was the summary for you? And would you do anything? Would you want to recommend anything to the speaker to take her evaluation to the next level at
The
the end, because
summary,
that's
I
important.
think, was in fact very concise in nature. And it did mention all the points. She did mention all the points from the other aspects of the evaluation. However, I felt like there was a small contradiction because she talked about the demeanor in aspects of excellence at first, and then in the summation, she talked about it when in the aspects of improvement. So I don't know if maybe it was my mistake, but that seemed a bit like a contradiction. And I think the summary could have been expanded on a little bit, but our speaker was unable to do that only because of the red card being flashed at her. But besides that, the summary was quite good. Another recommendation is that so the structure that the speaker used was she had an opening and then comment, recommend, and then comment and then summary. Because in the second comment, she talked about the logos, ethos, etc. So maybe we can keep all the comments together in one place if we are giving an extensive summary at the end. That is so that, you know, all the commendations are together in one part. That is just one suggestion that I have.
Right, fantastic. Thank you, Malia, and thank you, Rajiv. So summarizing what we discussed for Distinguished Toastmaster Jyotika is that she had a brilliant start to her evaluation. It was very objective, specific. Her commendations and recommendations were on point with examples as well. Probably what you can keep in mind is that when you add a statement, see how it can add value to your speech, to your evaluation, and also summary should contain what you mentioned in commendations as well as recommendations. It's also advised by our panel that if you have something specific that you want to highlight about the speaker, keep it all together and highlight it probably at the end as a takeaway message, probably. But well done, Distinguished Toastmaster Jyotika. Let's quickly move on to the last speaker. I know we are running short of time, but I think our panel is giving us that many insights to take home. Distinguished Toastmaster Savita, quickly the breakdown. Malia, as per the ballot for you.
All right, so it goes good, very good, fair.
Good, very good, fair, right. Rajiv?
Yeah. Good, and fair.
All right, thank you. So now let's move on to her evaluation that was delivered. She started with a very personal connection to the speaker, right? Would you recommend that to be used every time to build that, I mean, to make the speaker feel good, of course, or do you think it's not the right way and mention only what the speaker mentions that day? Malia, would you like to answer this?
Yes. When it comes to a contest or any of those kind of scenarios where people are competing, most definitely not. However, if it is in a club, like, you know, if it's in a person's home club where everybody knows each other, then it only adds that much value, right? If you compare them with their past selves or bring in some personal touch. However, it should not, they should not digress too much, but just adding one sentence, I think, just makes the speaker smile. So no harm in doing that.
Thank you, Malia, for bringing out that difference in a club meeting and a contest. Moving on to Rajiv, and this is with regard to the commendations. Now, there were a few aspects that DDM Savita highlighted, like, for example, honest. He was honest. It moved from reflective to transformative. But somewhere, I do not know, probably I felt it, that it was a summary of the speech that was given instead of giving us examples. Do you also think the same, or do you have anything else that you would like to share here in this regard?
Yes, in total, I felt Savita took more time giving commendations, and that's why she overshot the time also. So I felt like, yeah, she was having more commendation to the speaker, and in that rush, she could not do justice to more of the commendations as well. Some of the commendations she gave examples. For example, she mentioned the sound effects, how we sounded. So those were the typical examples that she could bring in. So if she could have limited those commendations to the major highlight 3 or 4, that would have helped her maintain that timing as well as keep the right commendations intact.
Choosing the right recommendations. Good. Malia, do you have any take with regard to the recommendations that were given by DTM Savita? She mentioned vocal variety, but do you think she explained or elaborated there?
Hmm. The only place where distinguished Toastmaster Savita used an example was when she talked about little details in the speaker's speech. For example, the hey, 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 etc. So that was a good touch that was added to it. So I would again recommend that when talking about vocal variety, etc., even if we as evaluators are not able to demonstrate that ourselves, at least we can talk about 1 or 2 practical steps in how the vocal variety can be improved or in what places the speech could have benefited from having a better vocal variety.
Fantastic, thank you. Lastly, to DTM Rajiv, with regard to the summation, right? 2 words that stood out for me in the summation were sincerity and authenticity with regard to the speech, but nowhere was this highlighted in the speech, right? For example, using those particular keywords, and those are good words. How could DTM Savita rephrase or rework on her summary the next time she delivers an evaluation to become a better
Rather than reworking on summary, if she could restructure the entire evaluation to minimize the positive commendations and the recommendations, she would be able to summarize very easily, is what I believe. Because I believe the rush that she had when she saw the red card already with the commendations made her not able to convince properly. So I believe she just focus on the key pointers, what to go for with the commendations, and then for recommendations. Summary is a piece of cake, that I'm sure.
Right, fantastic. Thank you, DTM Rajiv and Toastmaster Malia. Quickly summarizing for the benefit of distinguished Toastmaster Savita, she started with that personal connect with the speaker, and I think that would have definitely left the speaker on a high. Limit the number of commendations that you want to give, because that would definitely lead to running out of time. When you give recommendations, give practical examples of how the speaker could implement it. And if this is all in place, then I think establishing or delivering a good summary would be easy. With that, thank you so much to you both, distinguished Toastmaster Rajiv and Toastmaster Malia, for your time, your effort, and sharing these valuable insights with all of us at Champion Evaluators Advanced Toastmasters Club. We were happy to have you, and I hope you enjoyed this discussion as well. Thank you, and back to our Toastmaster of the day, Kalika.
Thank you DTM Daryl, for successfully conducting the final section of the meeting. Now, since we are a little short on time, I would like to quickly hand it over to the presiding officer, and I will now be signing off as the TMOD. Thank you everyone for having me.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the evening, Kalika. Let's give Kalika a huge round of applause. Her first attempt as a TMOD in this club. And Kalika is also the area director of Area 1. And I think initially I failed to acknowledge that, but excuse me, Toastmaster of the evening, Kalika, a warm welcome to our club, if I can say so at this stage, when we're just leaving. All right, what a wonderful meeting it was. Everything fell in place like a beautiful Lego toy. And I must say and congratulate our panelists who have brought in their expertise into this forum and helped us enrich our knowledge of evaluation. So thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Rajiv Srinivas and our Toastmaster Malia Raja. I don't know if Malia is still here or she's gone. I think she's gone, right?
Yes,
All
yes.
right. So thank you Oh, Malia is there. All right. So thank you, Malia, for coming here and helping us become better evaluators. Your insights are truly appreciated, and I'm sure it'll go a very long way in helping all of us get better. and to our panel moderator, Distinguished Toastmaster Daryl Rodrigues, for putting the right kind of questions, bringing everything together, because they say we are only as good as the weakest link. And I wouldn't say Daryl is the weakest link, but Daryl is that glue who brought all of us together. And thank you very much, Daryl, for making that such a beautiful session. To our speakers today, both our evaluators and speakers, who despite certain technical difficulties, tried to put this entire thing together, the entire meeting together. It definitely takes a lot of courage to come forward and do this job. With that being said, it's now time for us to announce our winners. We had a voting was done only for the speakers and the first set of evaluators, because the second set of evaluators, I think there was a small time disqualification, and therefore we didn't go in for the voting. And therefore, we will send your certificates a little later, because we are multitasking here, both Daryl and me, and therefore the certificates are not ready as of yet. But I promise I will send it to you later. But it gives me immense pleasure and honor to announce the best speaker today. The best speaker for this evening is Toastmaster Divya D'Souza. Congratulations, Divya. So now you can go ahead and become a mentor yourself. I'm sure you're mentoring a lot of them, but you can now become a mentor, since you know how Toastmaster envisions mentoring. Now, the best set of evaluators, the first evaluators, we had Distinguished Toastmaster Maria DaCosta and Toastmaster Sophia Zacharias. So the best evaluator that we all have voted for is Distinguished Toastmaster Maria DaCosta. Congratulations, DTM Maria. You are the best evaluator for the first set of evaluators that we heard today. So before I close this meeting, I would certainly like to hear from our guest, Distinguished Toastmaster Rajiv Srinivas. What was your experience of this meeting? And you've already given us your takeaways and your suggestions, but how can we make this meeting better? Over to you.
Wonderful meeting. I really was so skeptical whether I would be able to do justice. And I even mentioned Daryl, like, yeah, don't ask the questions me first, ask the other person, and I will just follow the lead. But indeed, he did the reverse. He asked me the first questions and put me on the spotlight. So I really love Daryl for all those wonderful support that he gives me. And thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. If there is anything that we can improve, but to the paucity of time, I'm not sure about that. But could we have a general evaluation segment? Because general evaluator can also touch base on the other role holders as well, where they could improve, because we are focusing on evaluations only, but I feel there are some other role holders who could benefit. So that's just a thought from my end, but please, based on the paucity of time or anything, please go ahead and do that. But thank you so much for the opportunity, and Daryl will connect.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, DTM's Rajiv Srinivas. Thank you for these suggestions, and we'll definitely try to work a way around, at least in some of the meetings. But you are the first one who says that you really love someone who put you in the spot, because often we really criticize the person who puts you in the spot. But thank you for saying that. Daryl will have a good night's sleep today. Now, anyone else would like to give suggestion? It could also be from our own members. We could probably take, I know we're running a little short of time or over time, but I could still give time to two of our members to come forward and give suggestions.
I'm really very happy that I am in this club. I'm benefiting a lot, learning much more than I ever expected to learn. And I'm so happy that you all have, invented a new club, which is benefiting me 100%.
Thank you very much, DTM Maria. That makes me feel so happy. Not only me, I think it was the last club that we chartered in last year's. Our immediate past district director, Distinguished Toastmaster Savita Salian, also will be very happy that we put this in place. So it was not a club put in for numbers, but it was put in for quality and value.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Yes,
DTM. You're making it more and more valuable. Now, even that suggestion that we have a general evaluator, that too is a good suggestion.
Yes.
Yeah, so good. So much of learning. So much of learning.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. And DTM Ballal. Over to you, DTM Ballal.
Yeah, I feel that one could consider having a live meeting maybe once in 3 or 4 months, which will make a difference on how we are doing, because it's different being online and different being live. That's one point. And the other point is the panel moderator is actually the general evaluator in a way, because he takes all the 4 evaluators in toto and then he gives his own points. So having an additional person would perhaps increase the time of the we run for in a meeting like this. It could be too long. It could end up being too long. That's my feeling. Because I
Yeah.
think the panel moderator is actually the general evaluator in a way.
Thank you very much, DTM Ballal, for those insights. We can take it the way we want. We'll definitely try to make, all I can say as the president of the club is that we'll definitely try to take all your suggestions and try to make this as good as possible, a club to reckon and a really valuable club. So thank you very much. And our next meeting is on 10th of November, 2025. And then the countdown, right, Daryl? Making faces. I hope I'm not wrong. We are Monday, so 10th November 2025, and the countdown begins for the new year. So we have to gear up. All I would request and reiterate is it's very important to use the peer mentoring session, and please request everyone to at least take 1 hour in a week's time to get together and practice evaluation, because evaluation is a result of practice, practice, and practice. Only then we can say Toastmasters is where we entertain, entertain, and entertain. Thank you very much. And with that, I'd like to adjourn the meeting and see you next time on 10th November 2025.
A photo, Jyotika.
Photo. Yes. Photo. Radhika, Warren, Kalika, please switch on your videos. J2. I don't know who
J2
J2
Savita
is.
ma'am.
Okay.
That is her mobile, I guess. All right.
Warren, Kalika.
3, 2, 1. Smile, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And with that, we adjourn this meeting number 8. Good night and stay safe. Bye-bye.